Just like many Ugandans, today I walked into a retail shop owned by John Musinguzi in Ntinda town, located on the outskirts of Kampala, to buy cigarettes. Among the many brands he has, I ran on Mrecho's Rex and I bought 3 cigarette sticks at 1,500, which is approximately $50. In fact, I'm told that other brands are much cheaper than Rex, meaning that the cost of cigarettes is much affordable for everyone, including children and the youth. What I have just done is illegal, and also Musinguzi is breaking the law. Uganda's Tobacco Control Act bans the sale of single cigarette sticks to any person anywhere in Uganda. It is not only Musinguzi that is breaking the law, but many other small, medium, and big shops in the country. Uganda's Tobacco Control Act, which was enacted in 2015, bans the sale of single cigarette sticks, and if one is arrested, is liable to a fine of 480,000 shillings upon conviction or imprisonment for at least 1 year or both. All this and the other many provisions of the Tobacco Control Act are aimed at saving many Ugandans, especially the young generation, against the devastating effects of tobacco. Selling of single cigarette sticks is among the very many tactics the tobacco industry is using to target the global young population. Worldwide, tobacco is the leading single cause of preventable death and kills more people than HIV, malaria, and tuberculosis combined every year. According to the World Health Organization, tobacco kills over 8 million people globally, and in Uganda, 38 people die every day due to tobacco-related diseases, according to information from the Ministry of Health.
Tobacco is the product that we know that kills more than 10% of the people who don't consume it, but who live around or interact with the people who consume tobacco. They are called second-hand smokers. 10% or more of the 8 million people who die annually are actually non-smokers. They are just second-hand smokers. So the thing about tobacco is it kills the ones who consume it directly. It also kills the ones who consume it indirectly by being around those. That is how dangerous the product is.
With tobacco killing over half of its users, yet tobacco companies keep expanding every year. The focus now is on getting as many young people as possible initiated into tobacco use to replace the dead users. To public health experts like Dr. Hafsal Kwata, the tobacco control focal person in Uganda, this is a huge concern.
We are mindful and we are aware that the industry, truly so, the industry has taken on so many measures, or they are using so many ways of luring young people into using tobacco, and it's, of course, we know it's for obvious reasons. Tobacco is an addictive product, so they need to take on young people because they'll be their future. They are the future customers. If they start on the young people, then they are sure that they will have customers tomorrow. So they have done so many things, and one of the things is that you can just look at the way they are packaging their tobacco products. They usually pack it very enticingly, especially for the young people. They put them in very bright colors, and it has been shown that if someone does not smoke by the age of 21, then they are least likely to start smoking. So that, and moreover, that was a research which they did themselves, and of course science just proves it to us. So they really target young people less than 21 years so that they can have, the future customers.
A 2016 survey by the African Tobacco Control Alliance titled Big Tobacco Tiny Targets established that there is unequivocal evidence that the tobacco industry deliberately and systematically targets the children in order to encourage smoking and the use of other tobacco products among them. The survey was carried out in Uganda, Burkina Faso, Benin, and Cameroon. In Uganda, the study observed that the tobacco industry was using multiple strategies, including marketing, advertising, and promotion, very often around schools, leading to experimentation with and addiction to tobacco among children. Today, in supermarkets and retail shops in Kampala and other towns in Uganda, tobacco products like cigarettes are displayed next to products like sweets and chocolate, items that are most consumed and liked by the youth and the children. According to Baguma Richard Tinkasimire, the coordinator Uganda Health Communication Alliance, the lead tobacco control communication and advocacy organization in Uganda, this deliberate move is among the very many tactics that the tobacco industry uses to target the young generation.
They do a couple of things. One of them, for example, is to have the tobacco products packaged in very colorful ways, packaged in interesting flavors, packaged in ways that look like or mimic the products that young people like. For example, chocolate, for example, cake, for example, biscuits or sweets. It's ways that they use that camouflage the challenges that come with tobacco and make them mimic the products that young people like. They also place these products, the tobacco products, in their display areas, in the places where they sell them at the points of sale. They place tobacco products next to what young people are likely to buy. They will place them again near these things, chewing gum, sweets, and things that the young people like, or close to scholastic materials, which again young people will come to buy, pens and books and currency. So this is concerning us because it's a direct target and a manipulation of the minds of the young people to associate the dangerous tobacco products with good things that they associate with.
Apart from this shrewd marketing tactic, Big Tobacco also employs tactics like the manufacture and sale of smokeless and flavored tobacco products, use of celebrities and influencers, as well as online marketing of tobacco products, among other traps.
The other way that they have adopted very much is to flavor them using the flavors that are attractive to young people. Chocolate flavor, strawberry, vanilla, all these wonderful flavors. And also to package them in very colorful and creative designs. So you find colors that are good, that are attractive. They do it also, promote tobacco products using influencers, using artists, using popular performers, using comedians, all these people who have popular following. And they do it in a subtle way. You will find that a lot of music videos, a lot of films, a lot of skits by comedians and all the other performers, a lot of presentations by the people they call slayers. They will contain a scene with consumption of tobacco. Either somebody smoking, is chewing, is sniffing, is smoking shisha, and this is a subtle way. So many of these influencers are paid because they have a big following of young people to feature consumption of tobacco in their photos or videos or whatever, and they are made to look like this is sexy, this is fashionable, this is trendy, and as a young person, people should be taking it. The other thing that we see the tobacco industry has been using is to put products online, because they know that a lot of young people are online. So they put a lot of their products online, and it's a way of circumventing regulations and legal provisions, because most of the legal provisions can be enforced from physical spaces. It's very difficult to police.
The big question now is,
there is no safe level of consumption of tobacco. In fact, tobacco is the product that we know that kills more than 10% of the people who don't consume it, but who live around or interact with the people who consume tobacco. They are called second-hand smokers. 10% or more of the 8 million people who die annually are actually non-smokers. They are just second-hand smokers. So the thing about tobacco is it kills the ones who consume it directly. It also kills the ones who consume it indirectly by being around those. That is how dangerous the product is. In fact, the other manipulation has one of the biggest killer products in the world. It kills more than 8 million people every year. And you see, when you are losing more than 8 million customers every year, you have to do everything to replace those customers. So the tobacco industry doesn't mind that it is killing its customers, because you see, tobacco kills you when you consume it as prescribed by the manufacturer. It's probably the only product that is legally on the market that kills its consumer as it should be consumed by the manufacturer. So you have to replace 8 million consumers.
The major target for all this persuasive and youth-focused tobacco marketing is the developing world, where Uganda and Africa lies. In Africa, over 41% of the population is below the age of 15, and this is a key target population for big tobacco. Having a big cross-section of this young population, especially women, getting initiated into tobacco use at an early stage represents a big socio-economic setback for countries, the continent, and the world at large.
But, if we have lots of the young people, women especially, using tobacco is dangerous. Tobacco is dangerous to each and every part of the body. But the most significant, I think later on, where people will really say, like, I wish I had known, is the reproductive system. It affects the reproductive system both for men and women, but worse for the women. Reason, it causes infertility, and if you manage to conceive and have your baby, you'll have like a small baby, a very small baby with bad lungs. It will not survive. It will cost the person who has had such a child a lot of money, because they'll always be in hospital. They'll have to be into these incubators So tobacco costs the country a lot of money, and we are told that, yes, you people are fighting tobacco, but these guys are giving us money. Yes, they give us money. But colleagues, those of you who are listening to me, for every $1 that is given in tax, we spend $4 in treating the complications that arise from the tobacco use. I think as adults, we cannot just sit down and relax and keep quiet about what is happening as far as tobacco use is concerned. We should start and do whatever it takes. The parents have their role to play, adults have their role to play, different people, the different stakeholders have their roles to play, the leaders. Members of Parliament have put in place very beautiful laws. The laws are there, but the implementation is our problem.
A real national challenge, that when the tobacco industry is not stopped in its tracks from targeting young women from developing countries. They must stop targeting women from developing countries, otherwise the developing countries are going to have dire consequences, health-wise, socially, and economically.
In order to offer more protection to the youth, the Tobacco Control Act also bans the selling of single cigarette sticks and selling of tobacco products near education institutions like schools and many others. This law we are talking about is currently under implementation, but David Kabanda, a human rights lawyer in Uganda, says that much more is needed in order to implement this law and protect generations.
From the civil society point of view, we know that a lot of people are dying because of tobacco use, and tobacco is the only one killer product in the world, and you see, you use tobacco and eventually die. You realize that tobacco is very dangerous, because if someone started it, you realize that it has nicotine in it and it is addictive, highly addictive. We have a very progressive law. Ministry of Health has now given us regulations. Everyone in Uganda must now stand up to use the power that they have within the law, because no one. So we are very hopeful and we are optimistic that this law might give us the results that we want. Eventually, we'll have tobacco out of Uganda.
Over the years, the trend has shown that having a very good law like Uganda's Tobacco Control Act is not enough in the fight to protect very many people from the effects of tobacco. Different stakeholders, including us the citizens, we have a big role to play if we are succeeding in this. Government, especially the law enforcement arm, must do all that is possible implement the law, but also as citizens, we must stand out to say no to tobacco in order to save ourselves and save others. Remember, tobacco kills the active users as well as the passive users, but most importantly, a tobacco-free generation is possible if we all work together. I'm Cliff Avenitwe for Smart 24 TV.